have 9 episodes left of this season before it is time for us to move on to season 5 and all kinds of new excitement. I keep saying that, but I have no idea what those new excitements will be or entail. Nonetheless, this is episode 60, and it's a 4-paper show. It's a bit of a classic lineup today. We've got The Sun, The Times, The Daily Mail, and The Telegraph. Pretty much the full murderer's row of the most awful newspapers in British media. We're going to be starting with The Telegraph. I've got The Sun up, but I'm going to start with Telegraph because it's the most annoying to handle. Then we're going to do The Sun. Then we're going to move on to The Times and finish with The Guardian. Today is me getting my second jab day, so we will be ending at 2 o'clock, whether I have finished the papers or not. Yes, enjoy the hellscape studying Fangirl. It is a hellscape where Giles Corran, many versions of Giles Corran are being tortured, and Rupert Murdoch and the Times' John Witherow are being made to look on. Use of weapons says they're pinged out of their mind on ping puns. Yeah, right. I'm just going to switch this to The Telegraph. Let's get that done first. You're melting, C122, H122. Yeah, me too. It's too hot. I can't have the window open when I'm doing the show because I'm too loud. And I can't have the fan on because that's too loud. So, what's that?
It's not that bad, the fan.
The fan is too loud with the microphone. It picks up really bad. Okay, so Frage's fuck face says, reckon they'll ever stop using the By George headline. Never. They refuse. They will never ever stop. Right. Corran's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't he? Yeah, he's appalling. If you want to know particularly how appalling he is, while also reading about why it was especially grotesque that he went for our recently departed friend Dawn Foster, read today's newsletter, brokenbottleboy.substack.com. Please share it if you like it. Like being, a bit of a loose word for it, because it's a pretty grim read. Okay, front page of the Telegraph, top of the page. Comings and goings. Who were his dirty dozen plotters? In the promotional aisle on the side, we've got Times Women's Sport Monthly. Only once a month for the Telegraph. Telegraph Women's Sport Monthly. Once a month, they feel that it's worthwhile talking about women's sport. So that there you go. Just moving the camera there. Elsewhere, Giles Brandreth, I'm a plummy voiced bloke, just a minute needed change. How dare you, the feuds that keep the art world turning. Michael Deacon, it's time we paid young people to get the jab. Then on the main page itself, Pingdemic disrupts supermarket food supplies. Business chiefs call for isolation exemption list to include store workers and hauliers. Eventually the exemption will just be everyone. And it makes no sense. What's going on really. Yes, on the right hand side we've got chip off the old block, and then it's a picture of Prince George. Various unhinged royal reporters are saying that he's sat on the Land Rover Defender as a to reference the death of Prince Philip, but also to get at Prince Harry. C122, H122 says, fuck Corran. We're very much a fuck Corran stream. Use of weapons says, why not invest in some people to waft you with fans? Perhaps some Ipswich troglodytes. We will not have Ipswich people in this house. Use of weapon. Women, know your place. Sport is unfeminine and causes hysteria. Elsewhere on the page, Johnson's vaccine passport scheme facing collapse. There's a surprise. Frost sends warning to EU over Northern Ireland Protocol. Does he fuck us like? We signed that. I say we. The British government signed Northern Ireland Protocol just over a year ago. I think that if they didn't know what was in it, that's their own issue. French refused to stop migrants reaching the UK, but Priti Patel just gave them millions of pounds. Funding questions over NHS pay rise, and debt fears hit call for spending spree. Funding questions over NHS pay rise. This is kind of bullshit that you get right. It's not effectively a pay rise. It's 3% pay rise, but in real terms, it's a pay cut. And they like to pretend that they haven't got enough money. They've got enough money they can find the money when they want to pay the exorbitant bills of Conservative Party donors whose companies have been giving huge contracts. But when it comes to funding the NHS and actually paying the people that work in it, oh no, that's very difficult. Guy Bruce Tweetgood says, do not disregard lady sports like foxy boxing and such and such. Farage's fuckface. Funding questions that they're raising. Exactly that. And it looks like the smart meters that they're spending 13.4 billion rolling out will be useless as houses move to hydrogen rather than natural gas. Is Prince Philip dead? I'm afraid to tell you, C122, H122, Prince Philip is dead. Is this a Biggie Smalls t-shirt? Yes, it is a Biggie Smalls t-shirt. UK ready to pull out of Northern Ireland Protocol? Is that right? Some woman has knitted a knitted version of Sandringham because this is a really cursed country. Project Britannia weighs anchor. Christopher Hope, who endlessly goes on about this replacement for the Royal Yacht. They've got a little graphic and everything. Telegraph campaign. The replacement for the Royal Yacht Britannia will cost £150 million and will be at sea promoting British business by September 2025, the government announced yesterday. So, right, on the front page we've got, not sure we can afford to pay nurses more, and then inside we're going to have this yacht that there's no evidence it will bring in any more money. Any funding questions over the big yacht, says Farage's fuckface. No, the yacht apparently fine. Crown producers wanted scenes of bottles being thrown at Queen, claims Leiden. Producers of the Crown tried to invent scenes of a rioting crowd pelting the Queen with bottles during her Silver Jubilee procession, John Leiden has claimed. The former Sex Pistols frontman is full of shit. Black pupils should study works by dead white men. Black children should still study the works of dead white men, as a decolonised curriculum will not create a more equal society, the school's minister Nick Gibb has said. Fucking hell. It's about allowing all children to see, to read about and encounter works of art where people like them exist in the narrative. Is that so fucking hard to understand? Of course it's not. France will not intercept migrant boats despite £54 million in UK funding. Charles Hymer says money alone cannot solve this issue. Calais needs to change its attitude. Yeah, just blame the French rather than blaming the whole Western power structure that have led to many countries being very unstable and causing a lot of these people to need to leave their countries of origin. And also the numbers of refugees that come to the UK are still very small. We could easily accommodate them if we had the will, but the racist tendency in this country is obsessed with the idea that we just do not have enough space for these people. Well, we do have enough space. We could do it if we wanted to do it. Use of weapons. John Lydon's an absolute prick and always has been. Bingo. Everton's new stadium cost Liverpool's World Heritage status. Liverpool has been stripped of UNESCO World Heritage status because of completely unacceptable development plans that include Everton's new stadium. Farage's fuckface says, we're streaming an all-black version of Oedipus at Colonus from the 80s earlier, and imagining how angry the Telegraph will get at it. Oh, so angry. Third of COVID deaths were in care homes. New data reveals full extent of vulnerable elderly lives lost to pandemics in the sector. Jules Holland's back on the road, so there's another sign of the apocalypse. Driving licence body in meltdown over applications backlog is the claim. Proms to go ahead at full capacity with some restrictions. Proms are one of the most cursed cultural events. Pantomime Horse says, don't know about John Lydon personally, but his politics are founded on being sneery contrarianism and nothing else. Exactly that. Graduate went for female-only job to sue for discrimination. A male law graduate applied for a female-only job just so he could sue for discrimination, a tribunal has heard. Lorenzo Garcia, who has a master's in international trade law, responded to an advert for female leaflet distributors. But when he was told by the IT activities company Software Academy Limited he would not be hired because he was a man, Mr. Garcia demanded to be awarded £8,650. However, an employment tribunal has dismissed his vexatious claim after a judge said he was actively seeking to find job adverts that are discriminatory in order to game the system. In November 2019, the self-employed market researcher saw the advert on Indeed looking for females to give out leaflets in Willesden Green, London. The tribunal was told that initially the company had been looking for leaflet distributors, but in order to distribute pamphlets in local mosques where some advert areas are women only, it altered the advert. Mr. Garcia applied for the job but was called to say they only wanted women. He then launched a claim to the employment tribunal later that month. What a prick. Keyless car technology pushes up motor crime. Yes, including the continued thefts of Giles Corran's cars. May he never ever have a car go unstolen. Here is a picture of a load of sheepdogs having a nice little sleep in a car. Sheepdog puppies in a car. Yes, they are sheepdog puppies. Fried as fuck phase. That was a plot in King of the Hill where Dale got a job at Hooters. Yes, I remember that. I used to love King of the Hill. I don't. Is it available anywhere to watch now? I haven't come across it on any streaming. Heaviest deluge in 1,000 years rocks China. Big Apple becomes Big Smoke after ash spreads across the US. Yes, Red Tick Seed says he hopes Corran doesn't have any cars that ever have a car that is unstolen, unscratched, and unshat in. Use of weapons. Giles Corran's car has been collectivised. Last seen doing donuts on the M27. A rescue brown bear and its owner on a fishing expedition together on a lake in their native Novosibirsk. Novosibirsk. Yes, I know. It's hard to say when you're trying to say other words fast. Russia. Veronica Dishka rescued the animal called Archie 2 years ago from a safari park that was going out of business and keeps it out of as a pet. How is this not going to end up being a film? That is an amazing picture. Also, uncritical support for that bear. Tarnished family of Samsung Air presents 1.6 billion art gift to gallery. Yeah, you're still dodgy as hell. Leander DeLille says, no Londoner can understand the English love of our counties. What? Fuck off. Alistair Heath says, we've made a tragic choice to enter a new era of permanent COVID terror. You, Alistair Heath, you rat-faced fink, exist only to cause fear. That's the whole point of the Daily Telegraph. And Kieran Martin says, ministers duck big policy choices by suggesting they have tools to magically bring adversaries to heel. He is a professor of government at the Blavatnik School of Government, Oxford University. He was the founding chief executive of the National Cyber Security Centre. Oh, I see. Con Coughlin, a close friend of the security services, says virus could topple the world's worst regimes. And Stephen O'Loughlin writes into the letters page, I'd like to enrol in a gym but can't find one that doesn't insist on blasting its users with thumping bass music. I like to swim but can't find a pool that doesn't force swimmers to listen to the ramblings of local radio DJs. Weatherspoons has enjoyed great success with music-free pubs. If only it could open a chain of gyms. A chain of Weatherspoons gyms. Con Coughlin fucking loves war more than anyone else. He does indeed. He loves a war. Craves war. I mean, not one that he'd have to fight in, just one to watch, you know. In the arts and features, who plotted with whom in Dom's Dirty Dozen? Dominic Cummings claimed that the PM's aides discussed his downfall to set Whitehall alight. Gordon Rayner asked who the conspirators might be. I'm a plummy voiced bloke. It was time for a change. Says Giles Brandreth. I've got Giles Corran on the mic. Yeah, Giles Brandreth talking about just a minute. Chronotherm says Dom's Dirty Dozen is a sex tape. Guybrush Tweetgood, is this letter writer 1,000 years old? What the fuck? I know. Michael Deacon says, if you want youngsters to get jabbed, flash the cash. I don't know if I count as a youngster anymore. I'm 37, but I am going to get my jab today, my second jab today. And amongst my younger friends, I see no issue. Like, I see no vaccine hesitancy. It's a question of whether they can get the opportunity to get them. Hi. The arts agenda, Ben Lorrick says, artistic fisticuffs, that's what makes culture so exciting. Is that right? And in the... Right. God, the Telegraph is unwieldy. What flavour of jab? I'm a Pfizer jab person.
It's a Pfizer household.
This is a Pfizer household. Yeah, that was Daily Telegraph anyway. Give me your scores for that. Chronotherm already been jabbed, but can I take Mr. Deacon's money anyway? Yeah, I think we should just drain the remaining Barclay brother dry, just giving his money out to people who need jabs. Chronotherm, the Telegraph is meant to be handled by footmen. Yeah, ironed and then each page turned by your footman. Right, moving on. We're going to move on to the Sun. We'll do a speed run through the Sun today because why the fuck not? I'm going to try and do the Sun in 2 minutes. Because why not? I've never managed it yet, but let's see. Use of weapons, -999. Only gets +1 for the bear. Give me my pet bear, you bastard Romanian government. Guybrush Tweetgood says he's still waiting for his Rishi box. Pantomime Horse says, conspiracies. We're pretending that the Tufton Street Network is a secret society, are we? Yeah, so in the same way that Laura Kuenssberg acted shocked that there's conspiracy going on in the British political system. Pantomime Horse says -998 for the Telegraph because there were also dogs. And C122H122 recommends only reading the Sun on speed. Right, hey Google, set timer for 2 minutes. Now. Front page of the Sun, they got a Love Island exclusive. Amber, contestants are more likely to land fashion deal than find love. What an exclusive, what a surprise. By George, he's 8 today. The grinning face of Prince George, as we get this every year. He's grown another year. Who gives a fuck? Main story, pings are running out. Stores warn tipping point in 48 hours. On page 3, that isn't page 3, but is page 3, lingerie model Gabriella Brooks is pictured wearing lingerie. She is also dating Liam Hemsworth. Government urged to get grip on NHS pingdemic. Shop ping crisis. So many ping puns. On page 7, Davina McCall in a bikini for no particular reason. A former rugby player is going to go on Strictly Come Dancing, Strictly Scrum Dancing. George the Great is the headline they put on a spread of more pictures of Prince George. I have no interest in this child. I don't know him. Why? What? Who gives a shit? On page 11, Starm's dream shot to pieces. Brit Amber out of the Olympics with COVID. She's a shooter. Kids suffering as crisis spirals out of control. Pretty damning. £54 million deal for 2 cops per mile of French coast. Government block books holiday hotels to take boat migrants. Rod Liddle is awful. Just awful. On page 17, Dolly Parton dressed up as a bunny girl again. She did that on the cover of Playboy in 1978. Has done it now in 2021. Still looking not too bad, actually. On pages 18 and 19, reality TV star in this year's series and Getting Back to Work. Islanders might find a fashion deal, but they won't find love yet. Surprise, surprise. On page 21, oh, I do like to be beside the seal side. Animal use garden as beach. Love that seal. Royal children deserve to be tapped in the Tower of London, says Chronotherm. In Bizarre is Bizarre, they pick the Sandringham, the knitted Sandringham, they call it's Yarndringham. 20 years ago, they were the wild party crowd. Then they all grow up. Guess what? People from the Britpop era are now old. Who could tell that was going to happen? Hey, Google, stop. Okay, couldn't do it in 2 minutes. Let's do 2.5. Les Dawson, The Lost Tapes, is recommended on TV tonight. In Fab Daily, I will need Botox forever after botched facelift left me drooling, says Alicia Duval. Well, that's unfortunate. Tomatoes to soothe sunburn and more hot hacks. They review Citroen C3 Aircross Shine Plus. The £50 letter is someone complaining about social media. There is a thing about coin. There is a coin advert. Platinum Coin Queen. Win your own world's first Queen Elizabeth II Jubilee Platinum coin. And in the sport, let the games begin. Muzzer hails beacon of hope, but COVID KOs Amber. Is this what we're calling Andy Murray now? Muzzer. Since when has he been Muzzer? Right, so that was the Sun. A classic triple negative nice from me. Good afternoon, SK the Crusader. You just missed me rattling through the sun in 2 minutes 30. C122 is shocked to discover that Love Island isn't about love. Red Tick Seed, Rud Little speedrun off a cliff in Minecraft. Coin, says Guybrush Tweet Good. Coins, says C122, H122. Use of weapons, those Britpop pucks are infesting the UK media and are complete fucking morons with asbestos brain pans. SK the Crusader has sent me a horseshoe theory bit to read. I hate it. I'm sure I will. I will, when I return from being stabbed by a stranger this afternoon, I'll take a proper look at that. And Red Tick Seed says, coins. Pantomime Horse says, feel like Tom Harris was around Vanguard here. I think you mean John Harris, but nonetheless. Right. Now we are going to move on to the Times. Let me just say, for the benefit of the person in the room, coins.
No coins.
She loves. Guybrush Tweetgood says it's clear that person in the room is saying mo coins.
I'm definitely not saying mo coins.
It's the crowd chanting with the crowd chanting boo earns. I was right. The Times. Red Tick Seed says person in the room was exclaiming, "Oh, coins! Why are you throwing French beans at me?"
Not French beans.
Oh, what do we call it?
Broad beans.
Broad beans. It's gone on the floor. I can't eat that one now. The person in the room is throwing broad beans at me for some reason. Yes. Yu-Gi-Oh! Stabbed by a stranger in the arms of an angel. Death of the party. Oh, coined us, says Yu-Gi-Oh! Right. The Times. Front page of the Times. Olympic Games. Michael Johnson. Matt Dickinson, 24-page guide on that. Times Earth supplement, climate change and the future of transport. Well, you just fucking row everywhere. Quick, send coins to rescue Mick from this abuse. Fears over shortages has stopped. Will you fuck off? Fears over shortages as stores hit by pingdemic. Sex offenders free to abuse children after changing ID, claims Andrew Norfolk. Now, this is a very disturbing story, and it is true that sex offenders do often try to misuse the name change thing. But remember, the Times is obsessed with trans people, so don't be surprised if this investigation has a second sprong about that. Are you eating chocolate that was given to the child for her birthday?
No.
Right. The future of transport is ecranoplanes as use of weapons. On page 3, museum welcomes Lily's fossil find. 220 million year old dinosaur footprint found by a 4-year-old girl has taken pride of place in a new exhibition in Wales. That's cute. There's coin news on page 3. Pound coins, Tudor era forebear fetches 64,000 pounds at auction. There it is. That's what it looked like. That's what a Tudor pound coin looked like. On page 5, first beating sun, then heavy rain, and even heavier hailstones. Hailstones the size of golf balls damage cars and smash windows in parts of the country amid thunderstorms and warnings of extreme heat. It's almost as if we fucked the climate. Use of weapons, says Tudor, I hardly met her. Abuser with new ID became au pair is the follow-up from that. Registered sex offenders slip through the net under a new name. This was an issue with Ian Huntley in the Soham murders, and still the government hasn't found a way to fix that because they don't really give a shit, ultimately. Drinks party deafness linked to higher risk of dementia. Struggling to pick out voices amid the din of a drinks party could suggest someone is greater risk of developing dementia. Claimed scientists at Oxford University found that being able to pick out sounds in a noisy place was linked to not being able to was linked to a 91% increase in the risk of developing the condition. Priti Patel has defended paying the French £54 million to halt channel crossings. The latest crossings have included many children and toddlers. So is the claim from the Home Office. Always be sceptical about that. Use of weapons says how many registered sex offenders work for the Times, or people who should be registered sex offenders? A question I can't answer. How many Times columnists are married or in relationships with registered sex offenders? Another question I'm just putting out there. On page 8, Stormont told to obey law on abortion. UK demands rewrite of Brexit deal. We can demand all we like. On page 9, our inner Olympian enjoys the action but stays firmly on the sofa. What the fuck? There's 2 sets of twins in the Team GB. 3 sets of twins in the Team GB squad this year. Positive test ends British favourites shot at gold. That's the GB shooter. Great Getaway sends flights on course for pre-pandemic levels. Australian PM sorry for lack of urgency over jab program. Still claims he didn't take a shit in that McDonald's. Shit himself in that McDonald's. France scrambles to vaccinate with new wave looming. Frederick Forsyth gives Booker novels the boot. Frederick Forsyth could not get past page 50 of any of the most recent Booker Prize winners, slagging them off variously and saying he had not been able to finish a Booker Prize winning novel for years and years and years. Well, if his attention span is that bad, that's his problem. Quentin Letts is awful. Fuck Quentin Letts. Cummings allies deny coup claim. Quentin Letts again says Rasputin no longer. Cummings is a jilted Diana. More on the knitted Sandringham. I mean, twee shit. The papers love twee shit. Pricey electric cars cost less than petrol in the long run. I mean, I think we already knew that. The Hamlet, the blind Hamlet with Ian McKellen gets 3 stars, and they say it's alas, poor McKellen, his Hamlet is out of joint. Quarter of rugby players may have brain damage, is according to a study. Almost quarter of professional rugby players may have brain damage. The first study of its kind suggests. A neo-Nazi student who called for rape is jailed. Right, this fucking first paragraph of this, honestly. An articulated, motivated, but wholly misguided student who founded 2 banned neo-Nazi groups has been jailed for 7 years after calling for rape and hanging of police women. Andrew Dimmock, 24, a politics undergraduate from Bath, was accused of being a Satanist and once carved a swastika into a girlfriend's buttock using a nail. Detectives believe Dimmock, a student at Aberystwyth University and the privately educated son of a dental professor and a microbiologist, saw himself as an online neo-Nazi influencer. If he was not white, would the first quote in an article about someone jailed for being an online extremist demanding the rape and hanging of women and encouraging others to do violent acts be described as an articulated, motivated, but wholly misguided student? If you are a Nazi, you have shifted somewhat beyond misguided. Fuck me. Pantomime Horse says those Nazis just so damn articulate. Yeah, red flag. Of course, he's privately educated, says C122, H122. Guybrush Tweetgood. Wild how the established media love to do fluff stories about dapper white nationalists. Albert Camus says, I feel like as much as we all have opinions on cops, and also as much as leftists we tend to disagree on most things, that we can agree that raping and hanging women and also being a Nazi are bad, actually. Yeah, funny. This is very much a those things are bad stream. Police held back at Wembley chaos is the claim. Everard case could happen again. Vetting processes are insufficient to root out officers like the one who raped and murdered Sarah Everard, the head of the police watchdog has warned. The problem with the police is not that there are some rotten apples. It is that the orchard is fucking rotten. Right, moving on. Jail tech bosses who failed to curb abuse, says Watchdog. How's that going to happen? How exactly is that going to happen? It's fucking meaningless. David Aronovich taking a break from being tricked into buying worthless leather jackets, says Johnson's instincts led him to complacency. The testimony of Dominic Cummings and Jeremy Farrar shows how badly the PM handled the pandemic last autumn. No shit. This man gets paid the big bucks for this stuff. James Marriott, the what will we call him? The work experience boy of the comment pages. Right. Language is a weapon guarding social status. In a time of economic anxiety, elaborate verbal etiquette and PC phrases show your superiority. Language is a weapon, says a Times columnist. Again, no shit, but not for the reasons he thinks. Janice Turner back on the never kissed a Tory shit. Never kiss a Tory. Well, maybe you should. Young friends staying this summer tell me a phrase pops up repeatedly on online dating profiles. Never kissed a Tory. What began as a larky t-shirt at Labour Party conference is now a default setting for many 20-something graduate women seeking men. Listen, we've done this discourse, and it's fucking boring. Sean O'Neill says law change will treat journalists like spies. Press freedom faces a precarious moment as ministers propose legislation to keep embarrassing secrets locked away. It's possible to believe two things here. One, that the potential the changes that are trying to be pushed through by the government to Official Secrets Act and other parts of the law are to do with stopping whistleblowers and stopping legitimate journalism, and also to believe that journalists have acted like spies and acted in extremely disturbing ways for a long time, many of them employed by News UK. Guybrush tweet good. It did not begin as a Labour Party teacher. Of course it didn't. Of course it didn't. Pantomime Horse. Every whining column by the self-appointed sensibles needs to be caveated with the words, "You made this happen." Yeah. In the birthdays today, Steve Rowe, Chief Executive of Marks and Spencer's, 54. Marcus Agius, Chairman of Trustees at the Royal Botanic Gardens, Kew, and the Chairman of Barclays until 2012, is 75. Prince George of Cambridge is 8. Imagine you're 8 years old and you get your birthday in the fucking times. It's bizarre. Barbara Cassini, chairwoman of the London 2012 Olympic bid, is 61. George Clinton, happy birthday to him. Funk singer and band leader, he is 80. Professor Sir Philip Cohen, the biochemist and Royal Medal recipient, is 76. William Dafoe, the actor, is 66. Bob Dole is 98. Louise Fletcher, the actress who played Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, is 87. Danny Glover is 75. Selena Gomez is 29. Louise Hay, Labour MP for Sheffield Heeley, Shadow Northern Ireland Secretary, is 34. Don Henley of the Eagles is 74. Nigel Hess, composer of various things, is 68. Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, is 49. Rhys Ifans, the actor, is 54. Stuart Lang, the Master of Corpus Christi College, Cambridge, and former ambassador to Kuwait until 2008, is 73. Bonnie Langford, the actress, is 57. Mireille Mathieu, the French singer, is 75. Caroline Quinn, the presenter of the Westminster Hour and PM on BBC Radio 4, is 60. Harold Rhodes, the cricketer for England until 1959, is 85. Terence Stamp, the actor, is 83. And Rufus Wainwright, the singer-songwriter, is 48. In 1298, English troops under Edward I, defeated the Scots led by William Wallace on this day in the Battle at Falkirk. In 1870, the Times published the first of 2 letters by Lieutenant Colonel Robert Lloyd Lindsay, later Lord Wantage, that led to the founding of the National Society for the Aid to the Sick and Wounded in War, now the British Red Cross. And the last word today goes to Martha Gellhorn, the American war correspondent and writer, quoted in Gellhorn, A 20th Century Life by Caroline Moorhead, 2003. War happens to people one by one. That is really all I have to say. Michael Cole in the letters writes, Sir, in response to my letter, July 20th, John Murphy, July 21st, quotes the Pickwick Papers in defence of Boris Johnson's sartorial lapses. Charles Dickens notes in the same journals of the Pickwick Club, in at the palace door one day, out at the window the next. I hope the Prime Minister has shirt tucked in when that happens. In corrections and clarifications, they say, our report, global stocks tumble amid COVID concerns and rising inflation, business July 20th, transposed the previous day's closing figures for the FTSE 100 and FTSE 250. There are always many more distortions in the Times that never get a correction. Happy birthday to Danny Glover. What age is George Clinton? George Clinton, sorry, I'll go back and tell you. George Clinton today is 80. In the world news, passengers trapped on flooded train wait to die. Jesus. Orban tests Brussels with referendum on homosexuality law. From adult films to porn, PAWN. Siciliana is a chess queen. When she was not performing in adult films, Ilona Stala, better known as Siciliana, was an avid player of chess. Now Italy's most famous porn star is to demonstrate her additional talent in an exhibition match, taking on 4 top players simultaneously. Stala, 69, nice, learnt chess from her father while growing up in Hungary before moving to Rome to start a film career. Cool. Baltic war graves desecrated by divers. Oh, that's grim. Babyface Conman posed as king's envoy in Spain. Law aims to stop Belarus flooding EU with migrants in Lithuania. Flooding. Never a good one. Or use of weapons. Orban will get away with it because he allows loads of German companies access cheap labour with strong anti-union laws. Yes, indeed. On page 35, there is a picture of a young girl in a rodeo competition in Tonopah, Nevada. The rodeo competition is her holding on to a sheep. So there you go. Washington and Berlin reached deal on Putin's new pipeline to Europe. That's news from Germany. Hedgehogs fall victim to killer robot lawnmowers in Germany. Ugh, grim. Black Anthem to be played before all gridiron matches. A song known as the Black National Anthem will be played before all American football matches from the start of the coming season as part of a campaign to promote social justice. Lift Every Voice and Sing. It was written in 1900, was later adopted by the US civil rights movement, but could become a new front in America's culture. Oh, fuck off. Former Asda boss is £1.75 million signing on fee with Bridgepoint, the buyout group. Grim. ×2, the Greek beach shack billionaires have to book. How one restaurant is reeling in the A-list. Can't say I care, frankly. Guybrush Tweetgood, I could easily defeat a sheep. How is this news? Well, I guess you're not a small child. Or at least I presume you're not. A series of small children in a trench coat. Simon Nixon says, state-backed digital currencies a gamble that might not pay off. They won't pay off. Pop stars hit right note at the mint. A rush to invest in gold and silver and demand for commemorative coins honouring the likes of David Bowie, coins, has helped the Royal Mint return to annual profit. Whoopie-doo. Royal Mail says online shopping trend will continue to deliver. Well, yeah, obviously. Vincent Adultman, yeah. Lady Vasquez, leave the sheep alone. Leave them all alone. Ride a fucking bike. Yeah. Priscilla Johnson McMillan, redoubtable Cold War historian and journalist who knew both JFK and his assassin, Lee Harvey Oswald, has died, aged 92. She concluded that Oswald Mosley was a Lee Harvey Oswald was a fantasist incapable of conspiring with others. Well, that's convenient, isn't it? Yeah, so were CIA agents, says use of weapons, yeah. Keith Folger, naval constructor who worked on the British nuclear submarine fleet from Dreadnought to the Swiftsure and Trafalgar classes, has died. He was 96. And Jimmy Gabriel, the tough-tackling midfielder who shone for Everton in the 1960s and later helped to develop football in America, has died. He was 80. Died of Alzheimer's, or complications of Alzheimer's, as so many footballers did in the past. Lady Vasquez says sheep are actually incredibly strong. Guybrush Tweetgood, I will not be swayed by this blatant propaganda. In the sport, how the boy from the streets of Athens has made himself king of the NBA. It's good. It's about the Bucks. Arsenal told to increase Ramsdale bid to £32 million by Sheffield United. Golden couple on track to be record breakers. Jason and Laura Kenny will battle each other to become Britain's most decorated Olympians in Tokyo. Mike Atherton says amputee Rob discovers the joys of runs. Talking about a guy called Rob Franks, who is an amputee and plays cricket. In the Tokyo Olympics opening round of the football at Tokyo Olympics, the Great Britain women's team beat Chile 2-0. 8 Manchester City players are in Team GB starting 11. Sprint race was no white knuckle ride, but is more than a gimmick, says Rebecca Clancy, reporting on F1 qualifying and the sprint race that they had. Return of big names gives route boost for England-India test, says Mike Atherton on the cricket. And on the back page, England stars Ashes doubts. Key players could miss tests if families are refused entry to Australia. And Gatland says the Springboks have already been wounded. That is the Times. For me, there was a couple of good animal stories, so a -67. Lady Vasquez says, I have a small flock of rescued sheep. They frequently send me flying, especially if there's any food on my person. Guybrush Tweetgood, I would simply do various cool Matrix-style dodges to avoid their attacks. Nice. Use of weapons minus the 100 sheep. Guybrush is going to fight. C122 H122 gives it a minus 68, presumably adding a point for the animal stories. Right, onto the Daily Mail. I'll just quickly do a roll call, and then we'll onto the Daily Mail, our final paper of the day, before I rush off to be injected again to ascend to my next form. I'm the Broken Bottle Boy. Follow me on Twitter at Broken Bottle Boy. In the chat today, in the mod squad, Guybrush, Tweet Good, and the excellent Guybrush, Tweet Good, and the ever excellent SK the Crusader, who I presume is streaming today, and we'll tell you at least when his next stream is. In the chat also, Academy Impossible, Achibis, 8 and C122, H122, Commander Root, Farage's Fuckface, Faria Bentos, Gurley, Chronothern, Letty Baskers, Miss Lenity, Albert Camus, Pantomime Horse, Red Tixie, Shankly, Struggle Ruffian, Studying Fangirl, Use of Weapons, Violet's TV, and Zip Shavit. Thank you, Zipper Shavit, sorry. Thank you for joining me here on this Thursday show. SK the Crusader is back on stream tonight from 6:30 in Crusader Kings 3 for the big Jizya campaign with friends. Cool. Okay, boom. Let's get on with the Daily Mail. Why women are celebrating Freedom Day by ditching their bras forever. Person in the room, you ditching your bra forever?
No.
Really? No. Okay. Confusing scenes here. The main story, shocking toll of pingdemic is laid bare. Empty shelves across UK. PM stuck in quarantine. And that makes me think that the PM is stuck with his ass coming out of a washing machine in a grim Pornhub style scenario, but I hope not. Bosses demand more staff spared isolation, and when will number 10 act? Never. Several weeks too late, all the classic ways. C122 H122 says, I hate the word ping. Me too. Page 3, page 3, Ian McKellen is mesmerising as the prince in the age-blind and gender-blind take on the bard. The Daily Mail gives it 4 stars, 1 more star than the Times did. Royal Mail could stamp out Saturday letter deliveries is the claim. That'll get the Daily Mail readers angry. Return of dreaded empty shelves is the way they cover the pingdemic. Also, pages 6 and 7 revealed full scale of tragedy as COVID tore through nation's care homes. It's not tragedy, it was a crime. Tragedy is generally an accidental thing, right? Oh, tragic loss, right? This was a crime, and Matt Hancock will get away with it, as will Boris Johnson. Javid urged let 2 jab Brits fly to France. Toot sweet. This is whether the French want them. Henry Deeds is tedious. We're not going to bother with his sketch. Shot down by COVID. British Golden Girls Olympic dream over. We cannot go on as we are. Frost threatens to tear up Northern Ireland deal unless EU backs down. 3 vet certificates for Asani. M&S boss rages over red tape. You're throwing good money after bad on migrants. MPs warn Pretty. Good money after bad. We're talking about human beings. Years in jail for exposing colluding Hancock as an affront to democracy. This is a distortion as well. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. But anyway, that real John Cena says, great show. Thank you, that real John Cena. Thanks for watching for the first time. £130 million migrant misery trade says is a special investigation by Sue Reed. Again, a way of seeming to tell the truth about what's happening with people coming across the channel, but it's replete with distortions. Too many for me to go through in this show. I'm George the Eighth is their headline for the needless picture of a child that none of us know nor wish to know. EU's pettiness over food exports to Ireland is proof it's several sandwiches sort of a picnic, says Stephen Glover, the most zombie-looking motherfucker in the British press. On page 19, the most ridiculous feature in this issue of, edition of the Daily Mail. Parking cake has fallen foul of the PC police for ties to empire. So from Victoria Sponge to Ginger Nuts, Roland White presents his deliciously mischievous showstoppers in The Great British Woke Off. Fuck off. Backlash over jobs tax to pay for social care. Labour slams national insurance plan. Good luck, Mr. Weinstein. Judges sign off as rapist. Denies 11 more sex attacks. Disgraced Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein pleads not guilty to further 11 charges of sexual assault yesterday. They shouldn't even call him disgraced Hollywood mogul. They should just call him rapist Harvey Weinstein. Hope for £1 million 1 million owners in cladding U-turn. I believe that when I see it. Cordon Bleu, world's top restaurant beaten by cafe. Diner voted number 1 online, but only number 2 in Lakes Town. Okay, whatever. 7 years in jail for a professor's son who set up neo-Nazi cell. That's their coverage of this Nazi fuck. Again, he gets he gets described, lots of justifications and descriptions there. And also, they managed to tie it in with Meghan Markle. Amazing. The day Eric shot Ernie with a stuffed poodle, found by Eric Morecambe's son on a dusty reel in his attic. The uproarious lost episode from 50 years ago that launched the duo on BBC One and changed the face of comedy, didn't it just? Guy Tweetgood, the EU sucks for many reasons, but I swear I get more and more FBPE every time there's some cunt Tory MP whinging about the mess we made for ourselves. Yes. July 22nd, 2021, on this day, from the Daily Mail archive, July 22nd, 1946. Expectations in Berlin today are that very shortly Germany will be cut cleanly into economic halves. This means that the Iron Curtain will be rung down from the Baltic to Bavaria indefinitely. July 22nd, 1969. Next stop, Earth. The Moonwalkers linked up tonight with the Mothership. After a perfect takeoff from the moon, Neil Armstrong and Edwin Aldrin in Eagle and the command ship Columbia, piloted by Michael Collins, nosed slowly together. Then Armstrong and Aldrin transferred 2 hours ahead of schedule to the command ship. Happy birthday to Bonnie Langford, who's 57, and to Selena Gomez, who's 29. Also born on this day in 1928, Jimmy Hill. And Michael Abney Hastings, the 14th Earl of Loudon, who was told by TV presenter Tony Robinson in 2003 that he was the rightful King of England after historians discovered that Edward IV was illegitimate. The Sussex-born aristocrat moved to Australia at 17 and found work as an orange picker. On July 22nd in 2005, Brazilian Jean-Charles de Menezes was shot and killed at London's Stockwell tube station by police who mistook him for a terror suspect. And who was leading the police on that day? Wyatt was Cressida Dick, now head of the Metropolitan Police. Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police. In 2012, Bradley Wiggins became the first British rider to win the Tour de France. The quote of the day comes from Abram Cowley, the English poet, 1618 to 1667. Life is an incurable disease. And the joke of the day. What do cows read in the morning? The Moose Papers. Right, temperatures to tumble as storms sweep in after heat wave. How the US unleashed Hell's Agent, a double-page spread on Agent Orange for some reason. 43 years on, Dolly, 75, is a bunny girl again. Help, Liverpool stripped of World Heritage status. In the female magazine, Female, the Olympic mothers who really do deserve a medal. What to wear this weekend? Apparently an ugly dress. Is it ever okay to date a widower in the first year? No, by Linda Kelsey. It's very disrespectful to circle like a vulture. Yes, says Belle Mooney. Men in the habit of love can fall quite soon. Two furious daughters, a stubborn stepmother who inherited a fortune and revenge from beyond the grave of the daddy they called the checkbook, which is just, these women remind me of the character from Parks and Rec who just constantly says, money please. Anyway, moving on. What a real freedom day, bin your bras. Now every day is no bra o'clock, says Marion McGilvery. I was shamed into wearing a bra, says Flora Gill, who will write literally anything for money. And Kate Mulvey says we shouldn't go back to captivity. And in the property part of female, how I tried to turn my home into a staycation gold mine. It's beginning to look a hot like Christmas. First, Aldi sold mince pies and Christmas puds in June. Now Pret is flogging turkey and stuffing sarnies. And families who were separated in December are unwrapping Yuletide with all the trimmings in a heat wave. Oh, fuck off. In the blind date page, Fee 52 and Luke 51 were not a match. She rated him a 4 out of 10. He rated her a 5 out of 10. They're once again trying to get you to go on a cruise with Eamon Holmes, Michael Ball, Paul Potts, and Bjorn again. It sounds the most cursed thing possible. In the TV review, Les Dawson, The Lost Tapes gets 4 stars. Remarkable Renovations, only 2 stars. Today's recommended TV, Diana's Decades, 9 p.m, ITV. In the cartoons, Garfield is looking at his computer, Chloe and a man are talking about relationships, and Fred Bassett is watching a snail moving along, having a lovely time. Red Tick Seed, on a cruise with Pol Pot. We had that joke yesterday, we'll have it every time that ad comes up, and I'm glad for it. Here's today's poems. 3 awful poems. On the treadmill. Walking on the treadmill, Roman slaves would know. Treadmill cranes took massive rocks where they had to go. Walking on the treadmill, prisoners knew it too. Asked Sir William Cubitt, he knew what to do. Round and round for nothing, wear the body out. Kill them by starvation, that's what it's about. Walking on the treadmill, because we are too fat. So the media tells us that gets rid of that. Walking on the treadmill, now we have to stop. If we mix together, COVID takes a pop. While we're off the treadmill, maybe we should dare to think how brilliant life could be if it wasn't there. The scansion in these poems is appalling. The limerick now, that poem was Ruth Twyman Locker of the Isle of Wight. This limerick comes from Bethan Morgan. From July it's a cuddle and kiss, and for those who don't share wedded bliss, but those pictures of Matt have put me off that, so I'll think I'll give freedom a miss. Boom, boom. Nursery rhyme for our time, writes Peter Freeland. Hey diddle diddle, a fanciful riddle, the cow has jumped over the moon. Quick look at the sky, there's a cow flying by, I think it's about to land soon. Jesus. Guybrush Tweetgood, I cannot listen with relish, for I will simply perish. Me for the male poetry section. Right, the straight to the point letters. Extreme weather conditions and an amber warning from the Met. We used to call it a lovely summer, says Leslie Neary. Linda Hughes writes, I've just been pinged. Please, Boris, can you find a space for me at Checkers to self-isolate? Barry Giggins, real name, writes, 2 pledges to fix the social care system and not to raise taxes. What idiot thought you could fulfil one without breaking the other? Peter Rickaby says, the Prime Minister appears incapable of giving a straight answer. He sidesteps or ignores questions, treating serious matters with an air of nonchalant disdain. Yeah, that's what you voted for him for. Piers Minnell writes, with his lightning U-turns, Boris should have considered having a bash at Strictly. John Colbert says, who will employ Dominic Cummings? Ralph Doncaster says, my wife has ordered a cardboard bed. Should I be worried? Jack Butterworth says, well, the BBC Saturday night peak time show is changing from the wah to the woo. I don't even know what that means. Fiona Norms of Coleraine County, Londonderry. Fiona Norris of Coleraine County, Londonderry says.
Sorry, hi.
That's alright, just do your best.
Where is it?
Yeah.
Where? BBC breakfast presenter Charlie State may not have the dulcet tones of Sir David Attenborough, but at this time in the morning we need a voice that will help us stay awake, not soothe us.
Thank you very much. Corrin's been photographed painting over the memorial to Dawn Foster that appeared on his wall. Classic Giles Corrin moves. Taxall Daily Mail columnist at 300% says C122H122. I am in favour of this. Today's recipe is barbecued oysters with garlic, paprika and parmesan, which does sound good, frankly. Trying to sell you linen dresses. They're trying to sell you ugly skirts. They're trying to sell you hoovers. And they are trying to sell you on page 71 an original Queen Victoria gold half sovereign coin. Yes, it's yours for just 3 instalments of £83. Fire up the tweet, use of weapons, thanks. there's a new musical coming out called Off the Rails. It features a musical film called Off the Rails, featuring the music of Blondie. And in the sport, get jabbed. Top flight stars face compulsory COVID vaccination. Springboks Waterboy ploy isn't on, says top ref. And tons of fun. Party atmosphere of the 100 starts with a bang. Right, give me your scores for the Daily Mail. For me, it's a classic negative nice. I'm just going to pull up this this tweet. Why is thy window capture not come up? Order. Move to tab. No, it's not there. Okay. Right, I've just got the tweet up. The tribute better be repainted until the end of time, or what are you even doing, Londoners? I'm not sure if that's Corin. I think that might be a workman. But I can't see him doing his own painting. Anyway. Yeah, as if he'd put the work in, exactly, SK. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me today. Listen, if regardless of whether that's Corin or not, if you can share today's newsletter, which is in tribute to Dawn and in very much the opposite to Giles Corin, please go to brokenbottleboys.substack.com and share that share the latest newsletter far and wide. Otherwise, thank you for joining me today on The Paper Thing. If you like the show, do always consider chucking some coins into paypal.me/conquest of the useless. And yeah, I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. for the Friday show, including a magazine special. Have a really good afternoon. I'm literally off now to go and get my second vaccine, and I'm very pleased about that. Cheers all. Bye bye.